new year, new plans, right? Y'all, I start back in the gym again this freaking month, and I'm just like, I'm having some flashbacks of some stuff that happened to me. Very unfortunate experience back when I was at the gym a couple years ago. And ever since, I kind of like just went away from it. And I am starting again in the gym this month. So I was like, I have to tell y'all this story because sometimes I just really be thinking some of this stuff just literally happens to me. And at this time, when this happened, this experience, I was literally about 15 to 16, maybe 17 years old. I was definitely not 18 at that time. And I was going with some family members. But before I say the story, y'all, I um it gives me such anxiety to think about this, but I gymmed really, really hard in 2022 and half of 2023. But when I say that, I was working out in my residence at my facility, and I don't even know how I was doing it, y'all, because I had two jobs. So I was literally working and working out at the same time. And now it's just like I'm so scattered in time, and I'm starting to make time for everything that I want to do again. It's just been very difficult. And now that I'm getting back up on it, it just brought back some bad memories that I am about to tell you about. So, here in my area, I have two gyms that are like the most hyped and used gyms. One of them is Planet Fitness and the other one is LA Fitness. When I first started to go to the gym years ago, I used to go to LA Fitness because it was just like the best kind of gym that there was. Honestly, I feel like it was the most used gym at that time. Yes, they are more expensive than Planet Fitness in general, but if you want me to be honest, I feel like Planet Fitness is a little bit more trashy compared to LA Fitness. LA Fitness is a lot more upkept, more clean, and a lot of the times, you go into Planet Fitness here and they're fighting over the machines. People are in there doing weird stuff, like just a lot of things, and their machines don't work. Just a lot of like, annoying stuff. And when I was going to LA Fitness, they're very clean. Like there was a lot of machines, a lot of variety. People weren't fighting over stuff, so it just worked out way better. And that is the gym that I've always went to, and now I'm starting back up again. I'm a little debated whether if I'm going to go back to that gym or a different one because now I'm at a different location. But regardless, this brought up a horrible experience that happened to me at the gym when I first started going back in the day. And y'all, I have been skipping on actually going to a gym for the longest after this incident happened to me, because I'm not gonna lie, like it makes me feel a little bit weird, and like it just gives me anxiety right away just thinking about this. So, back in the day when I first started going to a gym, and I'm talking about like years ago when I was like the age I said earlier, I used to go with family members. It would be always at least 4 to 5 of us, and we would go all together. So during, all this particular incident, like it was only two of us because it was cold and nobody wanted to go. And at the same time, like it was like the most randomest time and it was last minute. I remember that I was at work, and as soon as I got off of it, like I got picked up and we went straight to the gym, and I went with one of my family members. So at that time, like I had my bag ready and everything. So when I got to the gym, I was gonna change. Nothing crazy, nothing dramatic or out of the normal. We get there, I go inside, and we split our ways because during this time we were gonna go to two different spots, and then we were gonna meet up at the bottom level. So my family member went to the weight machines. That's usually where he goes to, and he spends most of his time there. but I like to go upstairs and hit the treadmills at first. So that is my warm up majority of the time that we used to go. We were there for a couple hours. So, like, that was just a perfect way for me to start my workout. So I remember clearly I went in there, and this time because I had to change, I go straight to a restroom, I change, and then at that time, we had already split our ways and I was going upstairs on my own. But because it was like a very cold day and all that, there wasn't a lot of people in there. So when I changed and I go upstairs, y'all, there was at least like three people up there before I got up there. And it was like they were very scattered. So I took the stairs, and as I'm going up, like the first thing I see is like this guy is in the very one of the very first machines there running. And not that I was paying attention or anything, but it's pretty obvious. Like I had to look at him when I was passing through. He was standing right there. I could tell, like he was very built. He had already been working out for a while or whatever. And this guy had to be at least like 6 feet or above, and he had to be somewhere in like his early 20s, like maybe mid 20s at that time. But keep in mind, I was like a freaking teen. I wasn't even 18 yet. So as I'm like walking to the machine, like nothing like, was out of the blue or whatever. So I'm walking, I'm setting up my things, and y'all, I just feel this stare like all down my body. And I am someone who can feel a stare even if you're not looking at me. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I automatically feel it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to turn around because there was like literally four of us in there. So it's gonna be really awkward. But I'm feeling it, y'all, and I'm like feeling uncomfortable. And like as I like turn a little bit to the side, I see from my peripheral view this man that was right there looking at, like, you know, me, I guess. He's like staring, and I'm just like looking at my side view, but like I'm not like really wanting to turn around. And y'all, like it was one of the most uncomfortable stares that you could think of. And at first I wasn't creeped out or anything like that, because it's not like he was 50 or 40 or whatever. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I hope it's just like a 3-second thing, and like, be about your business type of thing. So I was just like, oh my gosh, like let these 3 seconds go by. So as I'm like doing that and like trying to like work out or whatever, hit my walk and all that, y'all, I keep feeling this guy staring at me. Like I'm talking about deep staring at me. I was so uncomfortable to the point where like I grabbed my stuff, and behind the treadmills is like the bicycle. So I was like, let me just hit this one because, like I feel really uncomfortable. And y'all, I sit behind in one of the random ones, and this man, y'all, he grabs his stuff, and would you believe he sits like two bicycles down from me? And automatically I'm just like, oh my gosh, like here we go. Like, don't let this be a weird thing. Don't. And as I'm like, trying to work out and get set up and whatnot, like this guy is just staring at me, y'all. And like I was so uncomfortable, I didn't even know what to do. So I tried to work out, but it was just so awkward and weird. So I grabbed my stuff, and I head to the elevator. Like I was like, let me just go downstairs and meet up with, like, my gym partner, basically my family member, because I was like, I'm over this. And like I get over there and I start heading down, y'all. So as I'm getting downstairs, there's like a section where it's like the leg machines and stuff like that, and then like it's like the weight machines. So as I'm like getting down, because there was like little people amount of people basically in there, my family member that I was with, he automatically sees me, and he's like already working out or whatever, but he sees that I'm sitting in one of the very first machines because I was gonna try that out. And since he was doing his workout, I was like, I'll see him once he's done, right? And that's usually what we do. It's like nothing out of the blue, nothing out of the normal. We usually do that. Tell me why. I'm like stationing down and trying to try this new machine and whatnot. And would y'all believe that I see this freaking elevator open, and this guy is coming out of the freaking elevator? And I'm like smiling about it and all that because I remember how freaking uncomfortable I was. And it makes me a little bit like scared to like go back in there because it's something like I don't like most of us don't do like a lot of the times. I mean, I don't know how it is now. I haven't been to a gym in forever. I rather work out like in my own at a park somewhere in public because just stuff is crazy out here. But basically, I'm like watching the elevator and I see this man coming out of the freaking elevator, and automatically I'm just like, oh my gosh, let it not be what I'm thinking. So, y'all, this man literally starts to walk to the machine right next to me, and he sits down right next to me, and I am the most uncomfortable I've ever been in my life. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, no, right? Like, and as I'm like, you know, as all this is happening, like my little family member over there, he's peeping all of this, and he's just watching. And I'm just like, thank God, because like like it gets crazy. So after like all that's happening, right, I have my headphones on, keep that in mind. And at this time, like I had them all the way turned up because I'm not trying to hear no side conversation. I'm not trying to hear nothing you're mumbling. If you're gonna say something to me, you're gonna have to tap me or something, and it's gonna be like noticeable basically, because yeah, you're just, I don't want to hear it. So y'all, like I have my headphones on and everything, right? And like I could see this guy's mouth moving, and I'm just like ignoring him because I have my headphones on. And at this time we had like the cord headphones. So it was very freaking obvious that I had them on and I was not hearing him. And he's just like moving his mouth, but I'm like, oh my God, like I hope he's not talking to me. I hope he's not saying nothing to me because it's not cute. It's not about to be cute. And as he's like doing that, like y'all, I felt so freaking uncomfortable that I start getting up. I grab my stuff and I start getting up because like I honestly, like I was not gonna take that. Like I was like, no, let me get out of here, right? And as I'm doing that, y'all, like my gym buddy is watching everything go down. Like he is staring at everything that's happening. And as I'm getting up, I'm like, let me just head to the sauna because like let me just sit there and like wear this out because I feel very uncomfortable. So as I'm walking to the sauna, y'all, this man starts to walk behind me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, like no, like this is not happening. And like as I'm walking, right, like I'm just like, oh my gosh, I start like walking slowly because what if this like guy follows me into the restroom or something, right? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what do I do? And as I'm like walking, all I see is like my family member coming around, and like he starts to walk behind me. And like y'all, like this guy, you didn't see him at first, but as I'm walking down, right, he starts to like my family member starts to talk to me, and he stares at the guy up and down, and he's like, he literally tells him, you good, buddy? And he was like, y'all, this guy literally passes right by me, and he looks at my family member, and he's just like, yeah, man, I'm just walking to the man's room, literally like that, y'all. And he dashed way past me. And like the way that they have the restrooms, it wasn't like opposite or like or anything like that, it was going down the same hallway. So as soon as he said that and he saw that, y'all, literally this dude just went straight past me, like he was like on a mission for something. And I was like, oh my gosh, the relief I felt, like when he passed straight like in front of me and he ran wherever he was going, I was just like, oh my gosh, like I breathed and like I stopped. And then like my family member, he was just like, dude, like, are you fine? Like, what was happening? Like, because I was, my gym buddy hit like my family member, whatever, he's older than me, like way older than me. So he wasn't no kid. He was already like about to be 30s or passing 30s. So I wasn't with a child or anything like that. If anything, I was a child. So I'm like explaining to him everything that had just happened. And he was like, oh yeah, I have been watching everything ever since you got out of that elevator. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, bro, like if you weren't here, I don't know what I would have done. Like, it was scary, y'all, because like now, I'm grown and whatnot, but like there's only so much grown like that it defines, because at the end of the day, like we're women and like some men don't care. And this experience was bad, but y'all, I have another one that happened to me that was way worse, and that's like the 100% basically the only reason why I don't go in there. Aside from the fact that this one was like hella scary, because at the end of the day, it was still like something like that should just not have happened. Fortunately, like it was nothing as major as it could have happened, but y'all, like this other story that I have, and it was like the last day that I ever went to a gym, and it didn't happen too far from this one that I'm telling y'all. And it's so scary to like think about it, because every time I think about it, it gives me straight panic. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like these are the reasons. And like it talks me out of wanting to go to the gym again. And ever since, I stopped going to gyms because of that. And like, yeah, this is something that could happen to you anywhere, basically, because, I've had other like weird, dangerous things and experiences happen to me in other stores, but I honestly feel like a gym is more like heavily populated by men. So I don't know now, to be quite honest, because I haven't stepped foot in a gym in years, ever since those bad things happened. But they kind of like talked me out of ever wanting to go to a gym again. And the other experience that I have is like way worse. But honestly, like I don't know if I have it in me to talk about it, because it kind of makes me a little scared. And like now that I'm gonna start going to the gym, like I don't want to think about it, because I know it's gonna talk me out of going to the gym. And I just don't want to, I don't want to experience that like ever again. Like I just honestly is one of those things that you're just too ashamed in a way to talk about it. And I am hoping like I can be brave one time to actually tell the story, but for now, like I just can't, y'all. Like it was just way worse, like 100 times worse than this one. Yes, y'all, that happened to me like when I was literally a teen. I wasn't even 18, and it's just like the very first bad experience that ever happened to me in a public setting like that. And it kind of made me like really scared to go back. But I'm gonna leave it here, and I'm gonna try to build up some courage to tell the other one, because I feel like it does have to be out there. It's not normal for these things to happen, so it's not definitely something that you will experience. I guess it's like one in a million kind of thing, but then again, you never know. So that is what happened to me. I am like really excited, don't get me wrong, to go back into the gym, because I've been wanting to go since forever. I just don't build up the courage for it. I rather work out the hard way at home with no materials, but it works out for me. I got it to work for a whole year, and like now I am actually deciding to go back, because where I live there is no gym. So that is going to be all for now. And I'm hoping to take y'all on this progress and see what happens. But thank you so much for watching this, and I will see y'all in the next one.